seen the trailer for it yet. I saw the
It's
teaser.
it's very brief. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Um, and if you
I
haven't,
think with Preacher, the less I see on it before it comes out is going to
the
be the
better.
best. Yeah.
Yeah. They do have *Halt and Catch Fire* as well,
I
which
still haven't seen that. That's a show you always talk about that I haven't seen yet.
critical darling, to
Hmm.
say the least. You saw *The Martian*, so do you remember Mackenzie Davis? Probably not. So in *The Martian*, she's the chick that was the satellite person
Hmm.
who's like, I'm gonna go move the satellite. That's Mackenzie Davis. She's one of the leads
Yeah.
in *Halt and Catch Fire*, and she's fucking phenomenal in it. Um, but if you want to talk about like a master's thesis and how to pass the Bechdel test,
Hmm.
that show,
Okay.
like just for starters, it's so not what you normally get from Hollywood when it comes to like females,
Yeah.
you know, that it, it's one of those things where I had to be like, this is actually happening. Like, like people are just being people. This is like real life, you know? And in that regard, the show's great. And the
Hmm.
performances are phenomenal.
I still need to catch up on it.
Please watch it. It barely got renewed for a third season. So all like 12 people that live in Lubbock, you need to go tell them to watch this show as it airs. Watch it as it airs.
Yeah, they
Um,
won't. Lubbock is like the Florida of Texas
find
without the
find like the
water.
one person that has a Nielsen box and tell them
Just
just
leave it on.
yeah, even if they're not there, just leave it on. Just tune into AMC, just leave that shit on. Go walk your dog or whatever. Just
Go take a
please.
nap.
Yeah, do it a favor. Um,
Don't let it die like Hannibal did.
is Hannibal now over?
Hannibal is over. Season 3, it died.
Say la vie, man.
Yep.
But once again, dirty network television. I
There's
well,
some great stuff on network television,
I
man.
see. Here's the problem. Network television is it's very difficult for a network to justify a prestige show
Hmm.
in ways where something a little more mom and popish like AMC, not that it's not a giant, monster at this point in time, but
Well, now, yeah.
because they have one show that does so well in The Walking Dead, right?
I still need to catch up on that. Yeah.
They can afford to make a show like *Halt and Catch Fire*. Um, there's other financial beauties behind that show, namely that they also produce it themselves.
Right.
It's not like a Sony product that they're purchasing. Um,
Yeah,
and
they're just not shelling out somebody else's work.
exactly,
Yeah.
which makes it very easy for them to keep going. The episode cost is obviously lowered.
Well,
Um,
they kind of broke it open by doing Breaking Bad and Mad Men and, Walking Dead. Those definitely paved the way financially for them to be stable enough to do that and to go, talk to all these studios, or not studios, but the financiers, and it's just like, yeah, we have this success, this success, this success. Let's take this risk.
yeah,
Let's put out a darling like *Halt and Catch Fire*, because we have Preacher coming up.
yeah, and we'll get well. It's like if you can get 100 TV critics talking about something,
Hmm.
that reach a couple million people, great. Um, I mean, that's advertising, right?
Yeah,
And even if it's not necessarily for the show, it's at least for the network.
right.
And then people can get behind that. But that's I'm gonna get off the TV train because if it's not abundantly clear by now, I'll just come out and say it. But I think not think I know a lot of the talent, whether and especially from a writer standpoint,
Hmm.
just because you have a larger canvas to paint on, a lot of the talent has gone away from movies and into TV.
Yeah, it's making that weird shift because they kind of trade places every now and then. You'll see like TV stars become movie stars and then vice versa. And now it's like you have these actors that are doing both and they're okay with it because they don't feel like it's a death sentence if they get put on a cable show.
I think it also helps that you have these limited engagements, right?
Hmm.
So you have a show like Fargo, for instance, where it's just you're there for a season,
Right.
and you know you're not going to be there longer than a season.
Yeah, because the formula for that is that each season is going to be different and like different setting. True Detective's doing that.
Yep.
What's the American Horror Story?
Right.
Fargo, like season three, we don't know when. It could be an '80s show. It could be
Yeah.
a '50s show. Who
Who
knows?
knows? And that's the beauty of it. That's how you can lure people away. The other
Yeah.
thing is
So it's
is
like
you
just
have,
give us 6 months of your time on a contract. We'll
if
get
if that,
yeah.
4 months,
We'll,
four to
we'll get
six, we'll
we'll
just
get
round it out.
12 episodes out. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, it's essentially the same commitment you would have with a major motion picture, right?
Right.
Um, and then I think the flip side of it is we can give you Mr. or Mrs. Hollywood star, movie star. We can give you your own show. We can give you your vehicle.
Right.
Like you're gonna go get nominated for a Golden Globe,
Yeah,
and
and I
it's
think
gonna be a big deal.
in this day and age, it kind of makes their resume stronger if they do that and they're on a successful show.
Absolutely. I mean, I think
You know,
so.
Cranston can do whatever the fuck he wants now,
He can,
and he
but
is.
I think we were talking about this ever so briefly the other day. It's like Clive Owen, for instance.
Oh, poor Clive.
Like I think, well, I mean, I think part of the reason why he's doing the Nick
To try and
is,
get that resurgence.
yeah, exactly. Like that's the vehicle to now revitalize your career.
Hmm.
Plus, I mean, it's not that bad of a gig when you basically get to work with Steven Soderbergh on every episode. Um,
Is that an American show or a British show?
it's an American show.
Okay.
It's on Cinemax of all things,
Oh, okay.
which
So
I
it's
mean,
a little head above water.
Cinemax original programming is not that bad.
Yeah.
The Nick is really fucking good. Sometimes difficult to watch from a. I mean, it's early 20th century surgery,
Hmm.
so there's a lot of blood, and cocaine. Uh,
Now,
I'm not sure which there's more of.
who
Um,
runs Cinemax? Is that an HBO thing?
uh,
Do they own Cinemax?
I have no idea who owns Cinemax, um, but I tell you what, through the powers of the internet, uh,
Oh, you working your voodoo?
I can tell you. So let's see here.
Because I know that
It
like,
is owned by Home Box Office Incorporated,
all right, so
operating
that's
subsidiary of Time Warner. The end.
so Cinemax is HBO Lite.
I think it's H. So, do you remember? I don't know if you had HBO back in the day, but when HBO and HBO 2 were a thing,
Yeah,
and HBO 2 was kind of like the roughed up version of HBO.
yeah, it was like the more experimental. It was like a FXX.
It was like grittier,
Yeah,
rougher. Like they were willing to take like some weird programming risks. That's basically where Cinemax is in an original programming standpoint.
but what I'm getting at is like showrunners will get an idea, try to pitch it to HBO. If HBO doesn't want to run it, they can kick it down to Cinemax and still keep that money.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's
So,
also like, the guy who made True Blood,
mhm.
or at least helped, whose name is suddenly escaping me. I want to say Alan Ball. Is that right?
Yeah, it
Yes,
sounds
that
like
is
it.
right.
6 Feet Under
So
guy.
yeah, so he went over to Cinemax to do um, Banshee,
Okay.
which is just completely, it's pulp. It is absolutely 100% pulp.
Hmm.
Um, and it's just phenomenal. Um,
So they have more freedom to do crazy shit.
yeah, and I
Okay.
might and I might be misquoting there.
Because I know that
Al
like
Already,
Crackle is owned by Showtime, I think, and so they're putting out their own TV shows and stuff.
yeah, they just have a thing coming out. So's Amazon. But I think we're now making the point that it's like clearly if contenders are coming out of the woodwork,
Hmm.
like there's serious money, there is serious interest,
And
and
it's definitely because of those big shows that I named off that everyone knows: Breaking Bad, Mad Men, Walking Dead, and Game of Thrones is in there for those big show titles, but the success of those, everybody wants a piece of that. So
Yeah.
they're like, let's open this gate up a little wider and see what else comes through.
Well, I mean, now that we kind of exist in a binge watching culture,
Hmm.
it's there's money to be made there, right?
Yeah.
So as and this is why I call it dirty network TV, right? Is more and more people, I think I'm one of like the last, at least of our 80s babies,
Hmm.
that watches things weekly as they come out. So many folks wait for something to be finished and then watch all of it.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
There's definitely a lot of people that do that, and ratings lack for it. And that's why shows get canceled because people want them all in bulk. But with network TV, you can't bulk it.
no,
Definitely cannot bulk it.
and
And
the other thing that's terrible is I don't you probably don't pay attention to fall TV, nor should you. Um, but fall TV is like this killing field shit show,
yeah.
right? Where everything's like jockeying for position. And for some odd reason, it's like every show that's released mid-season, like the January, February shows, do significantly better. Oh, I wonder why. There's less competition,
Right.
um, and you can promote it during things like playoff football, which might help considering CBS, Fox, and ABC all have a slice of that pie
Hmm.
for NFL. So yeah, why not? Like it makes perfectly good sense to use your largest viewership platform, which is the National Football League, whether you like it or not, to sell your shows.
Yeah.
How did that is so fucking obvious
Well, that's
that
what CBS does all the time to sell their shitty sitcoms.
well, it's also because the people that watch CBS haven't changed their channel since 1978.
But you know what I mean? Like if
So
you watch a football game and you see like uh oh fuck, what is it? King of Queens, back when that was on, you would see that little chroma keyed thing come up in the middle of the game at the bottom of your TV.
there is a lot of crossover
But you
in
would see
the
like Kevin
Kevin
James
James
crossing his
kind of
arms like
demographic. Yeah, and now it's all the and how many NCISs do you need? But
five more.
uh, five or six
Yeah.
at least.
We're
Uh,
going for the Under the Ocean and On the Moon. Those are going to be really big sellers.
so well, I mean,
Moon Crime.
Sequest can get rebooted any
Oh,
day now.
please God, no.
Talking Dolphins, buddy. It was the wave of the future.
Fuck
Uh,
that show, man.
Whenever you want it, it's there waiting for you.
Sequest DSV.
You can have all the Sequest you wanted.
So
Um,
bad.
hey man, you were just waiting for Jaws the whole entire time, right?
Hmm.
I was.
Or a
I feel like
Leviathan.
we've gone long on television. I
Yeah.
mean, like we haven't even talked about our mutual love of Rick and Morty. Like there's so much that's happened in the last 6 months that either you've caught up on or I've caught up on or has actually come out
It's kind of
that
been overwhelming at a time.
it is overwhelming. Um, and that's part of the reason why I like the weekly model a
Yeah.
whole lot better. It's less overwhelming.
Yeah.
Get on my level, people.
This is not going to be one show every 6 months because
We
that'll just
have
be.
I know that our generation doesn't subscribe to things like cable,
Mhm.
but if you do, you have DVRs, you can figure this shit out. In fact, you know what? If you have a group of friends, just get the one guy that that still has a cable subscription.
Yeah.
Your slightly older friend that
And
has been wearing a goatee for just a little too long.
he still has that gold dot earring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know that guy. I am not that guy, but I know that guy, and just just have him do it. Get like a six pack,
Hmm.
so you can gain entry to his domicile, and then watch that shit as it comes out. You will do yourself a huge favor, so you're not feeling. It's the reason I never watched The Wire, which I don't want to bring up because I feel terrible about it. But the reason I never watched The Wire is that I'm really daunted by 5 seasons worth of TV.
Yeah, and those were huge episodes. So
Yeah, they're all 1 hour slices, right? So it's the reason I'll never see The Sopranos in its entirety. Like I've seen episodes, I'm never going to watch all of it. It's just too much. Um,
So let's shift over to some video games.
I
Um,
don't want to. I don't even want to talk about video games.